23 million units sold globally, yet the Austrian polymer pistol designed for frigid mud and sand trials remains the single most misunderstood weapon system on Earth. Forget the memes, this is the reality of the engineering decisions that forged the modern combat handgun. Our journey begins not with the original service pistol, but with the niche competition machine, the Glock 34. Born in 1998, this pistol was Glock engineers' direct response to the long-slide G17L running afoul of IPSC's restrictive sizing box. Competitors realized the G17L left virtually no clearance, so the G34's length was meticulously trimmed to a more manageable 222 millimeters overall. Crucially, it retained 31-inch barrel, ensuring that velocity remained high enough to cycle the softer recoiling 147-grain loads demanded by the competition's minor power factor rules. Early production models, riding on third-generation frames, utilized the now standard finger grooves and a robust single recoil spring system. The design rapidly iterated. Gen 4 standardized the dual captive recoil unit, a necessary upgrade for reliability with varied loads, while introducing the modular backstraps to fit diverse hand sizes. However, it was the 2018 Gen 5 that truly future-proofed the G34. This generation added the ambidextrous slide stop lever, but more importantly, it shipped exclusively with the Modular Optics System, MOS, cut, long before red dot optics became a mainstream necessity for everyday carry. The match shooting community quickly leveraged a hidden benefit of the slide milling. It reduced reciprocating mass. This seemingly minor weight reduction allowed top-tier shooters to achieve split times comparable to finely tuned, purpose-built 1911 race pistols. While officially known internally as the G34 competition, the moniker rarely graced the slide, preferring the simple G34 roll mark. Culturally, its profile exploded when a heavily modified Terran tactical version appeared under intense cinematic fire in John Wick 2, a premiere that correlated directly with a brief, measurable spike in civilian sales data. In terms of hard specifications, this purebred polymer machine weighs approximately 23 ounces unloaded, but it reaches a combat-ready 33 ounces with a standard 17-round magazine seated. It maintains Glock's familiar safe action trio of internal safeties. Despite its competition focus, the G34 has seen limited but significant SWAT duty in precision tactical roles, where armories from Dallas to Seattle have documented mean rounds between stoppage figures that rival the legendary standard service G17s. Current production strictly remains Gen 5 MOS, with only occasional highly sought-after limited runs featuring competition blue frames offered as dealer exclusives. Shifting gears drastically, we encounter the true wildcard, the Glock 20. It arrived in 1991, offering the resurgent 10mm auto cartridge a durable polymer platform after the magnificent but troubled metal-framed Bren 10 had faded into history. This pistol is structurally related to the .45 caliber Glock 21, sharing significant slide and frame architecture, but engineers elongated the magazine bodies to accommodate the powerful 10mm case, resulting in an impressive 15 rounds of firepower in its flush configuration. To withstand the immense working pressures, approaching 37,000 psi, significantly higher than standard service cartridges, Glock retained its famous polygonal rifling, but mandated dramatically thickened barrel walls. The field results from this power were immediate and unequivocal. Alaska state troopers logged early reports detailing complete penetration on large moose at close range, a metric that swiftly endeared the G20 to bush pilots, smoke job crews, and anyone operating in bear country. Paradoxically, this immense power proved excessive for some federal agents. FBI recruits with smaller statures often found the recoil excessive, a factor that ultimately nudged the Bureau toward the development and adoption of the relatively weaker .40 S&W round. Yet the Glock 20's reputation persisted, with many agents privately purchasing the pistol specifically for backcountry and wilderness duty. The Gen 4 iteration addressed some of the handling concerns by introducing a short frame grip, reducing the trigger reach by 3 millimeters, a seemingly minor modification that provided medium-handed shooters the leverage needed to effectively control the pistol during rapid timed drills. In practice, the G20's inherent design brilliance allows for remarkable multi-caliber versatility. A simple barrel swap converts the gun to fire the cheaper .40 S&W or the rapid .357 SIG for training economy. And utilizing the shared lower architecture, if an operator possesses a complete Glock 21 upper, the G20's lower frame can safely cycle a 45 ACP. This adaptability solidifies the Glock 20's position as one of the most mechanically versatile pistols Glock has ever engineered. The platform measures 6 inches overall, tips the scale at 5 ounces empty, and adheres to the standard, robust Glock takedown procedure. Intriguingly, no Gen 5 G20 has officially surfaced, though dedicated gunsmiths frequently retrofit factory optic-ready slides salvaged from the long slide G40 onto existing G20 frames. Retail shelves continue to list both Gen 3 and Gen 4 versions, and used prices hold firm precisely because hikers and serious outdoorsmen trust this design implicitly against dangerous brown bear encounters. The structural cousin of the G20, the Glock 21, aggressively targeted the crucial American .45 auto market upon its release in 1990. By scaling up the iconic Glock 17 blueprint, the G21 provided a double-stack magazine holding 13 cartridges, nearly doubling the capacity of the legendary M1911, while simultaneously shaving several ounces of weight from the overall package. This capacity places it among the highest capacity .45 auto pistols commercially available, only marginally exceeded by specialty firearms like the FNX-45's 15-round magazine. The Orlando Police Department, among early adopters, reported significantly fewer parts failures than they experienced with heavier steel frame alternatives. The pistol soon found a competitive home in bowling pin events, where its uniquely low-bore axis helped shooters shave vital fractions off shot timers. In 2007, the short frame variant was introduced, thinning the backstrap profile specifically to appeal to operators wearing fit gloves or smaller-handed recruits struggling with the original grip girth. An interesting production nuance is observed in some early Austrian-made G21s that lack the USA barrel markings often seen on export models, yet still carry the specific Smyrna proof dates, leading collectors to frequently debate the authenticity and value of these crossover serial blocks. The pistol's 6-inch barrel, safe action control suite, and 8-ounce unloaded weight render it highly manageable for rapid-fire strings, particularly when utilizing ubiquitous 230-grain hardball ammunition. While the U.S. military never granted it a formal National Stock Number, NSN, Marine Corps Force Recon instructors evaluated a small batch for demanding maritime raid force roles before logistical commonality requirements ultimately steered procurement toward other systems. Today, only the Gen 4 version remains consistently in the catalog, pending persistent rumors of an imminent MOS upgrade. Dedicated civilian owners often hot rod the G21 design with potent, 45 superloads, achieving chronograph data that regularly registers velocities of 1,300 feet per second when launching 185-grain projectiles, provided the factory recoil spring is upgraded to a heavier 22-pound unit and a fully supported chamber barrel is used. A more radical, high-performance option involved converting the G21 to fire the proprietary 460 Roland cartridge, a slightly elongated 45 ACP case loaded to pressures equivalent to mid-range 44 Magnum. With the appropriate compensator and spring setup, this modified platform can safely launch 230-grain bullets at searing speeds exceeding 1,350 feet per second, effectively rivaling the energy of a 44 Magnum. Crucially, the conversion kit, while adding length and muzzle weight, keeps the original polymer frame intact and feeds reliably from standard G21 magazines. This intense 460 Roland configuration is widely utilized by backcountry hikers and dedicated hog hunters as a potent bear defense rig, with some specialized gunsmiths even porting the slide to optimally balance the intense recoil impulses. Field reports consistently confirm deep penetration on large game, even through major shoulder bone, demonstrating that Glock's renowned polymer frame holds up exceptionally well under this added, extreme stress when upgraded properly. Turning to deep concealment, the Glock 42 marks a pivotal moment, Glock's first entirely American build, surfacing dramatically at the 2014 SHOT Show. Previous 380 ACP offerings had been restricted by federal import guidelines, necessitating that Smyrna engineers produce the G42 entirely in Georgia, adopting a locked breech action to minimize slide mass. At a feather-light 8.8 ounces empty and a mere 94 inches wide, the pistol immediately found favor with a specific high-stakes clientele, airline crews operating under the Federal Flight Deck Officer (FFDO) program. Field stripping remains intentionally identical to the full-size service models, a deliberate choice that enables armorers to standardize on a single set of maintenance tools. The standard magazine bodies carry 6 rounds, but popular aftermarket base plates can extend capacity to 8 without sacrificing the crucial slim grip geometry. A subtle, unique oval firing pin block, specific only to this model, was introduced to provide added bearing surface inside the narrow slide channel. Early production runs utilized coated trigger bars that occasionally showed premature finish wear. Glock quietly remedied this by updating the part in 2016, leading to a sharp, measurable decrease in distributor returns thereafter. Range tests consistently show soft, manageable recoil, especially with standard 95-grain practice ammunition, while terminal performance meets or exceeds FBI gel minimums when loaded with modern bonded hollow point rounds. Current sales remain robust, particularly in humid Gulf region climates, where deep concealment and ankle carry remain dominant methods. Next, we examine a fascinating military-to-civilian crossover, the Glock 19X. The story begins dramatically with the 2017 XM17 modular handgun system trials. Glock submitted a configuration featuring a shortened slide mounted atop a full-length grip. This design satisfied stringent magazine metrics without sacrificing the crucial holster clearance required by military retention rigs. Although Sig Sauer ultimately won the contract, Glock swiftly repackaged the design in 2019 for the civilian market, moving over 100,000 units within the first 6 months of release, according to official company press releases. The 19X ships distinctively in Coyote Tan NPVD finish, includes 1 17-round and 2 extended 19-round magazines, and retains the robust lanyard loop, a feature specifically mandated by the Army's rigorous drop test procedures. Internally, it mirrors Gen 5 specifications, running a marksman barrel, featuring ambidextrous slide stops, and incorporating a flared magazine well. However, it notably omits the front cocking serrations, a design decision made to preserve compatibility with existing issued military retention holsters. The pistol measures 44 inches front to back and weighs a substantial 31 ounces loaded. Users have specifically reported that the extended slide bevel greatly eases reholstering into deep Kydex concealed rigs. Production remains consistently steady, and dealer surveys frequently list the Glock 19X among the top 5 best-selling Glock SKUs, despite the continuously expanding proliferation of aftermarket G19X clones saturating the market. We must now address the pistol born from tragedy and the subsequent shift in law enforcement doctrine, the Glock 23. Introduced in 1990 alongside the full-size G22, the compact G23, chambered in .40 S&W, was Glock's critical response to meeting the FBI's newly established criteria for penetration and wound volume, criteria forged in the brutal aftermath of the 1986 Miami shootout. The frame precisely duplicates the compact G19 proportions, but incorporates a mandatory third frame pin and a noticeably heavier slide to successfully temper the higher recoil impulse of the .40 cartridge. Early Gen 2 slides marked HRM, signifying high-rate manufacturer, were produced during the surging wave of law enforcement orders and now command a premium among collectors. Federal agencies, including the DEA and the U.S. Marshal Service, carried the pistol for 2 full decades, generating extensive field data that demonstrated superior barrier performance against vehicle bodies compared to 9mm.
A limited 2009 run featured the aggressive, rough-textured frame 2 panels and unique fishgill serrations, before customer feedback ultimately favored a return to the traditional straight cuts. The pistol carries 13 rounds, tips the scale at 31 ounces loaded, and crucially accepts caliber conversion barrels for both 9mm and .357 seg, an undeniable economy appreciated during extensive training cycles. The Gen 5 iteration adds the marksman barrel and deletes the divisive finger grooves. Despite these updates, many plainclothes officers still favor legacy Gen 3 frames because of the sheer breadth of aftermarket parts support for older triggers. Current catalogs list all 3 major generations, and agency surplus centers frequently refurbish the durable Gen 3s for reserve units rather than scrapping them entirely, irrefutable evidence of their long, durable service lives. The larger sibling, the Glock 22, arrived simultaneously in 1990. The full-size .40 S&W, capitalizing immediately on Smith & Wesson's V cartridge, before its inventors could even ship a competing pistol. Sharing identical holster dimensions with the existing 9mm G17 dramatically simplified police procurement, and by 1998, the G22 equipped a substantial majority of U.S. patrol officers. Its polygonal barrel proved exceptionally robust, maintaining velocity and accuracy after thousands of duty rounds, delaying the need for expensive fleet replacements. Glock even produced a force-on-force red slide variant designated the G22P, which allowed identical manual handling characteristics in simunition training classes, greatly streamlining departmental transition programs. The G22's 49-inch barrel, 15-round magazine, and 25-ounce unloaded weight struck a near-perfect balance between ballistic power and daily carry comfort, though some new recruits consistently required additional recoil control instruction. As federal agencies gradually migrated back toward the 9mm standard, vast quantities of surplus G22s entered civilian channels. Hobbyists quickly discovered that installing a 9mm conversion barrel paired with a lighter recoil spring created an inexpensive, effective, and extremely durable range setup. The newest production models adopt an overt travel-limiting trigger shoe and feature an NDLC slide coating proven superior in harsh salt fog corrosion tests. Law enforcement trainers continue to favor the G22 platform for intensive shoot-house drills because its exact manual of arms seamlessly matches the currently fielded 9mm service Glocks. For the true minimalist, we arrive at the Glock 26, released in 1995. At the height of the concealed carry boom. Affectionately known as the Baby Glock, this subcompact shaved the G19's barrel down to a mere 43 inches and introduced a crucial design element, a dual captive recoil spring that would later migrate to stabilize all Gen 4 service pistols. The 10-round flush magazine maintained a thickness near 1 inch, yet its fundamental compatibility with larger G17 and G19 magazines offered owners enormous modular capacity. Range officers for the Illinois State Police soon discovered a startling fact. Recruits consistently scored higher with the Baby Glock at 15 yards than with the snub-nose revolvers the pistol was designed to replace. Competitive curiosity followed. One shooter famously won a Glock Shooting Sports Foundation match using a bone stock G26 against full-size, optics-less competition pistols. The slide's notably added mass, compared to contemporary Micro 9s, translates directly to a milder, more manageable muzzle rise, a functional trait that many concealed carriers value far more than absolute thinness. Gen 5 brought forward serrations, a subtle flared magwell, and the marksman barrel, while meticulously maintaining the original slide-width profile. While custom shops offer intricate RMRSC optic cuts and aggressive grip reductions, many experienced owners deliberately leave the gun factory stock, citing its flawless 2-decade-plus reliability record. New production remains split between the Austrian original facility and the Georgia plant, and retail demand endures strongly despite the highly crowded modern micro-compact market. Finally, we return to the progenitors, the bedrock of the entire system. The Glock 17, the original 9mm service pistol, successfully completed the rigorous Austrian acceptance trials in 1982. It famously survived mud, sand, and grueling -40 Celsius freeze testing that systematically sidelined traditional, complex designs. Serial numbers up to approximately 20,000 received the distinctive P80 roll marks for military issue, and those specific pistols command a substantial collector's premium today. The now standard slide stop lever, which was absent on the early prototypes, entered production only after crucial field feedback from Austrian Gebirgsjäger mountain troops requested faster lockback verification while wearing heavy gloves. The second-generation frame added aggressive checkering and a stabilizing third frame pin when the higher-pressure 40-caliber conversions were first proposed. By 2007, cumulative worldwide sales of all Glock models surpassed 5 million units. By the end of 2023, that astronomical figure exceeded 23 million across the entire model range, with the G17 still leading the pack. Technical constants include its foundational 49-inch barrel, 17-round magazine, and a nimble 22-ounce unloaded weight, though the external finishes have evolved from the original Tennifer process to the modern, superior NDLC coating for tougher corrosion resistance. Dozens of major militaries now field the pistol, from the British Royal Marines to Finnish border guards, and major U.S. agencies like Customs and Border Protection have designated it as an authorized duty sidearm. The Gen 5 update thoughtfully removed the divisive finger grooves, added truly ambidextrous controls, and refined the internal barrel geometry. Improvements that factory tests demonstrated yielded sub-2-inch groups at 25 yards. Ongoing production in 3 separate countries ensures continuous parts availability, and armorer schools worldwide continue to utilize the G17 as the essential, baseline model for all Glock maintenance instruction. The quintessential Goldilocks pistol remains the Glock 19. Introduced in 1988, this compact model strategically shortened the G17 slide by half an inch, successfully yielding a pistol that remains sufficiently small for effective concealed carry, yet large enough for demanding duty holsters. Early Gen 2 frames notably lacked accessory rails, but undercover officers instantly valued the magazine commonality with their issued G17s. U.S. Special Forces adopted the model unofficially before SOCOM formalized it as the MK27 Mod 0, specifically noting that the shorter slides significantly reduce snagging in confined urban environments and aircraft. California's rigid handgun roster froze its approval on the Gen 3, keeping that variant in crucial production long after other states had advanced to later generations. In 2017, the Gen 5 introduced the Marksman barrel, forward-cocking serrations, and a flared magazine well, features directly informed by the critical FBI 19M trials, where agents requested faster, more reliable reloads under extreme stress. While the crossover 19X pairs the compact slide with a full-size grip, the original G19 consistently outsells it globally. Its cultural resonance remains immense. Prop masters routinely issue the model to television protagonists, ranging from meticulous federal agents to gritty comic book vigilantes, granting the pistol near universal recognition, even among non-shooters. Police trade-ins and used Glock 19s remain scorching commodities in the civilian market, often vanishing within days of hitting dealer shelves. The reason for its enduring dominance is simple. This single pistol straddles nearly every role a handgun could ever be asked to fill. It is compact enough for deep concealment, large enough for full-time duty use, and accurate enough for entry-level competition, all without requiring expensive aftermarket tweaks. Pair it with a modern weapon light and a red dot sight, and it instantly transforms into a formidable home defense setup. Strip it back to iron sights and a simple Kydex holster, and it will effortlessly disappear under a t-shirt. The Gen 3 and Gen 4 models, in particular, enjoy a passionate, cult-like following among advanced tinkerers and prepper communities due to their massive parts interchangeability and outstanding ease of maintenance. Purists often claim that if an individual is restricted to owning only one handgun for the rest of their lives, it must logically be a Glock 19. There is truly not a single scenario this versatile platform doesn't fit into.
If you thought these standard-issue service weapons were formidable in their base configurations, wait until we dissect the secret world of suppressed operator models, the specific, modified Glocks that SOCOM and the world's elite military units actually procure. Hit that follow button and prepare for the deep dive into the high-stakes realm of military whispers.